Hi, I'm Pam Tholen, and this is 10 tips on what you and your student council members need to know and do in order to have a positive working relationship with your administrator. As I said, I'm Pam Tholen. I'm the principal at St. Francis Borgia Regional High School in Washington, Missouri. We're a Catholic co-ed high school of about 500 students. We're located in the South Central District of MASC, about an hour west of St. Louis. And I'm proud to say that we have a thriving student council. We were named an honor council this year. So I've been there for 3 years. And before that, I was a German teacher and a student council advisor for 11 years. I first taught and advised at Union High School in Union, Missouri for 4 years. And then I was in the Liberty Public School District in Liberty, Missouri for 7 years, where I taught at 4 different middle schools. And I was the StuCo advisor at one of them. So, in 11 years of teaching, I worked under 5 different administrators, and that does not even count the assistant principals I worked with. So, I've gotten to see a lot of different leadership perspectives. And as an advisor, it's really easy to to think about what your principal is going to say, really going to that this is how they should react and things like that. And now that I've been in the principal seat for a few years, I know it's not as always easy as just saying yes to everything and letting everything just happen. So I thought that this would be a unique opportunity to just share my experiences with you, both as a teacher and advisor, and now as a principal, because I know I kind of have a unique perspective on that and just kind of share some wisdom. Now, of course, I'm just one principal, just one person, and I know you guys are working with all different kinds of people. So hopefully these are general enough that they'll work for everybody. Feel free to email me at pam.tholen@borgia.com, or you can find me on Twitter at Frau Tholen. Haven't let go of that German Frau yet. This is a picture of some of my best buddies and me at camp last summer, right before the Warm Fuzzy skit. So we are so excited to have this virtual workshop this summer. You know, I know it's totally different than having our regular camp in Fulton, but I'm so excited that despite all the craziness going on, we're able to still get together, share ideas, learn from each other, grow, lead, and so on. So I'm excited. Thanks for being here. So back to the tips, right? How do we work with our administrator to get the best result? You know, you want to bring your administrator on board because you are going to serve the whole school. And whether you like it or not, your principals are a part of your school. So that definitely helps. So why? You know, you can run your student council without the help of the administrator. Absolutely. But really only to a certain point, because there's going to be some day where you're going to need their help with something. And when I mean help, that might just mean you need their permission. And that whole expression of it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission, that works like 1 or 2 times. And after that, it's like you've lost all sense of trust and just things break down. So let's team together and work together to give our school the best student council possible. So, tip one, no particular order, but there is an awesome principal, Mr. Scott Moore. He was my husband's former principal at Fort Osage High School. And he would always tell me that you need to build strong relationships before you need strong relationships. And that's so true when you're talking about the relationship between student council members and advisors and principals. So, before you need to go in to ask for anything, just go in and introduce yourself. If maybe you've got a new principal and you want to bring your exec board in early July when you know they're just getting their feet wet and they're learning names, you want their face, your faces, the exec board faces to be one of the first people that they know, right? Because you want to get on their good side right from the get-go. And likewise, they want to get on your good side too. No principal comes in wanting everybody to hate them, right? So that would be like if they're a new principal or something like that. Invite them to your back to school meeting. Maybe you've got an overnight retreat or a lock-in or something like that. Have them stop by. Maybe they're the ones who get to bring the pizza, so they're like the big hero or something like that. One of my most prized possessions is the student council shirt that my advisor, Nikki Addison, gifted me for the last couple of years. It was a total surprise. I wasn't expecting it, but it was so welcome, and it made me feel like I was a part of the group. So that's an easy idea. And then just another suggestion, just stop by their office sometime, or when you see them in the hall, don't ask them for anything. Don't mention anything about that student council activity that's happening next month. Just merely say hi, ask them about themselves, things like that. People love to talk about themselves. So um, just, have that strong relationship before you need that strong relationship, because there's going to be some times where you're going to need that strong relationship. So next tip is just figure out what makes your administrator tick. So are they really into school safety? And so all of the things that you're going to throw their way is going to somehow tie back to school safety. Are they into relationship with kids? And so you really want to tie that in. Maybe they're just really focused on getting test scores up. Maybe they just really like chocolate. So then that way you can kind of frame that preference, or whatever you want to call it, of your administrator. Frame all of your asks, or all of your requests out of that frame of reference. Okay, so say you're coming in with a plan. You want to propose something new, or maybe it's an old idea you want to bring back, or maybe it's a new principal and you're just trying to get in the whole plan for homecoming in the first couple months of school. So I want you to come in with a fully formed plan, right? When you're going for that big ask. So all the details, right? But the most important detail is the why. Why should the principal be saying yes? Why should they partner with you on this activity? Because that's what they're going to be asked, right? When a parent comes in, they're going to say, why are you letting student council do the car bash? Or a teacher's going to say, why are we changing our bell schedule to have this pep assembly? So if you come in with those whys already answered, that's great. Anticipate the questions they'll ask. I really suggest you find yourself some critical friends around school. I threw out a lot of ideas to my faculty members, just to get their temperature on things and see what they think. I talked to some non-StuCo members about the ideas before we went in. We talked to the principal, because I want to be able to say that this is something that the whole school is on board with and that we would all benefit from. But if I'm just talking from my perspective and my student council members' perspective, that can kind of be like a shallow pool sometimes, and you want to get a wide variety of opinions. Okay, so I suggest you come in with your dream plan. So in those big asks, don't start here, right? When you're negotiating for like a price of a car, and you're really like saying that you can probably pay $30,000 for this car, you're going to come in, you're going to say that you can only pay $20,000, right? Because you don't want them to know that $30,000 is your prime spot. So come in with this grand plan of all these things that you want to do, and they might just say like, yes, I love it, let's go for it. If not, though, you can kind of peel layers back, and then you've got this plan B, C, D, and so on. You want to make it easy for them to say yes. So be excited about it. Have your questions answered ahead of time, as far as like security, cost, supervision, all those things that, whether principals like to think about it or not, we have to think about it. So, okay. And then, be honest. There's been some times where my student council, we just messed up. So, we had an assembly once, and one of my coworkers was participating in this activity, and she had to slam her face into a pie, but the pie pan was sitting on the ground, and she broke her nose, or nearly broke her nose, and this was like a month before her wedding, and I just had to own up to it and apologize to her and the principal, and just say I was so sorry that we put them in that situation. They were so understanding, so they're like, no, I put myself in that situation. I knew what was at risk, right? But it's just so nice when you can just own it, right? And don't hide from it. Or maybe something ends up on social media that shouldn't have ended up. if you can be the one that gives that information to the principal first and be like, I need you to know what happened, before they're finding out from a third source or a fourth source, that's really helpful. And then so you guys can work out a plan together of how to move forward. And then also don't be afraid to confide in them. Maybe you're having some infighting in your student council, or maybe you're having some trouble with some faculty members buying into the door decorating contest, or whatever the case is. Partner with them. Don't be afraid to share your heart with them when you're worried about something or something's not working out. And then they see a human side of you that maybe they didn't see before. And so that's really, really important. Okay, and then this is, of course, what student council is all about, right? Appreciation and things like that. But sometimes we just need to stop and take a second of think about all the people who were a part of making this event or this week or whatever happen. So be gracious and show your appreciation to your administrator. Recognize their support. So even if it's just as simple as just saying like, hey, thanks to Mr. Smith for allowing us to have this assembly today. And then you go on with your event. Or maybe it's a quick shout out on Twitter. Oh my gosh, I'm so thankful for the support of Mrs. Jones during homecoming week this week. You can do something big, make a grand gesture, and nominate them for the MASC Administrator of the Year award. Or even just as simple as a personal thank you note that says, thank you for supervising the court warming dance. It was really great to have you there. Really appreciate it. Maybe it includes a little gift card. Maybe it's just a thank you note. That's fine. But, a lot of times I think I took for granted that, oh, we're having this event, so a principal's going to be there because they have to be there. Well, they have to be a lot of places and supervising a lot of different events. So don't take for granted that they just have to be there, and make them want to be there, and then show appreciation for their support. This one was really hard for me as an advisor, right? And it's hard for me as an administrator too, right? I want to make people happy. That's one of my major goals in life. But don't take no personally. So sometimes you're making a big ask and it's just out of the principal's hands. Maybe somebody else already requested a fundraiser for that month, or maybe it's that there's a time constraint and you just cannot change the bell schedule for that month because of testing or whatever. Then you have to remember that the principal has to be thinking about the whole school, maybe even the entire district, and how their school fits into that. And so although, we would just love to just make our school the most fun, caring, warm, inviting, welcoming place ever, sometimes there's just some other things that principals have to consider. And then I think that this is just truly important because you want to avoid talking negatively about your administrators to your students. The students need to see you and the administrator as a team, because then they're going to see themselves as student council leaders and their school leaders as a team. So keep it positive. Make it a two-way street, right? So volunteer to help them too. So work together to solve problems at school. Maybe there's something going on. Maybe the school is getting bad press for something that was posted online or something like that. So partner with the principal and be like, hey, I want to help you here. You're in a really tough spot. What can I do to help? Or maybe it's just something as simple as supporting them during a really stressful or important time. So you volunteer your student council members to be greeters at the freshman registration night, or you and student council are going to sponsor the breakfast for the teachers during Teacher Appreciation Week. Take a day off of the principal's plate of planning. So just, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. I hate that expression, but it is applicable here. And then you always want to make your school look good, right? Student council is all about making your school look good and feel good. So I know I would love to personally be able to retweet everything my student council tweets. And thankfully I can do that. You're going to celebrate the great things that are going on in your school, but not just what student council does. You're celebrating the theater production. You're celebrating the district win from the volleyball team, whatever the case is, you guys are student council. And so you want to make sure that you're not just promoting your own events, you're not just pushing your own agendas, but you're supporting everything that the whole school is doing, clubs, other sports, what the teachers are doing in the classroom, the whole gamut, right? There's like, you guys got a lot of stuff on your plates. And then just, of course, never risk the school's reputation. So you always got to think that principals, administrators, we're thinking from a PR perspective also, right? That we've got to make sure that nothing can be misinterpreted or anything like that. And unfortunately, there's always going to be the haters out there that want to blow up something that wasn't even negative in the first place, right? But they're going to look for something, they're going to nitpick. So just make sure that you're keeping the school's reputation in mind, that you're keeping their best interest in mind. And then I always love to involve the kids, right? So you're gonna make sure that you're having the kids make the ask. You're encouraging the kids to build the relationships with the principal outside of school. They're stopping by their office and saying hi and all that good stuff. And little secret, it's a lot harder to say no to kids, especially if they're really cute and sweet and nice and do everything that you ask them and all that good stuff. Then sometimes it's easier to say no to adults. That's true. So just bottom line, same thing that I told my students in my classroom. We are on the same team. We have the same goals, and we want to work together, not against each other, not separate from each other, but work together to get our school to the place that we want it to be. So thanks so much. I hope you guys have great working relationships with your principals. Reach out to me if I can do anything to help. Have a great rest of your summer.